let's get into that the freedom of speech, right? And how that's kind of being taken away from us on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, right? I had a video where it was never released to the public because, you know, they gave me a strike on YouTube because it was about COVID and the vaccine, and you know, we had articles and information to prove what we had said was correct, you know, and it wasn't something that we was just on there spewing, you feel me? But it wasn't let through. And that shit angered me, right? TikTok, we've been banned on lives. I know y'all been banned on lives and shit like that, can't use it. And it's like, okay, we'll give you freedom of speech, but what they're realizing, and I give a lot of this to Andrew Tate because I think when he came along, people like Fresh and Fit, academics, they grew a following that was cult-like, that we have never seen from just a regular creator. Like before them, you got Logan Paul, Jake Paul, these niggas. Yeah, they got followers, but they don't got no cult-like following like these niggas. Andrew Tate go tell you, go outside and slap a bitch. Niggas will go outside and slap a bitch. Straight up. Like that's how much power he had over some of these young men. And so I think once they saw that and they saw the ability to create this cult-like following, they had to figure out a way to slow it down. And so the only way is to make things, you know, against community guidelines. Not only that though, but what you'll see today in society is with the left, and I hate to get into a left and a right and a, you know, liberal and conservative thing, but the left has a very, very secretive, in-your-face way of demonizing certain things. The left has demonized free speech. The left has demonized certain masculine men and opinions and certain takes on mental health and things like that. Pretty much anytime you tell somebody to do better without coddling them first, it's gonna get kicked out. And the left has made, in my opinion, the fear of being labeled a right-wing conservative or a right-wing racist or a prejudiced negative person, they have made the fear of that so big that niggas don't even want to go towards those topics. Because I don't want to be labeled a fucking right-wing conservative because now you lumping me in with niggas that got hoods on their heads with the eyes poked out. You feel me? You grouping me in with niggas that, you get what I'm saying? Don't respect black women. You getting me grouped in with niggas that disrespect our culture. So it's like, and there's a fear of that. And so you see a lot of men and women with platforms stay away from certain topics, not even put it out. So that's already speech control right there. Because you like, hold on. Pookie and them finna see this like, man, is they finna think I'm, you feel me, fucking with the right? Or am I do I hate women because I said women should take accountability? You got niggas avoiding shit like that too, just because of a certain view they might be viewed as. And I think that's the biggest thing that the government and currently who runs it is the left has been able to do, is fearmonger, you know, that I don't want to be labeled that. So let me stray away from it.
See, I believe they underestimated the power of the people with these podcasts. Like you said, they didn't see Andrew Tate coming to have the cult-like following that he got, to where he's literally changing the world with just his words. And like you said, these guidelines, the community guidelines, is used to slow that down. Like you said, I mean, it's to the point where you got to really strategize the way you say things now. And it's crazy because even on this episode today, I am tapering back what I really want to say because I don't want the shit to get demonetized, because it's that too. Yeah. It's like, all right, these community guidelines, you speak in the way we want you to speak and say words we allow you to say, or you damn near making the content for nothing. Like, we're going to demonetize it. We're going to give you a strike. Same thing happened to me. I was debating somebody about something that was unrelated to COVID. I just used COVID as an example. And they were like, they gave me the warning, like, if you speak about this again, we're going to strike your shit. I had to take a little 5-minute course about what you can and can't say. And it was all related to COVID. And it was like, basically like, you had to click these answers to what they want you to say.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Even if you have the real information coming from real doctors and all type of shit, you couldn't say it. So this is why I never made no more content about COVID, because I'm like, I don't even want to walk that tightrope.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Every time I go live, I get banned for a week. So that slows down people wanting to follow you, because you might got people that tune in. Or I go live every day at 6 p.m. Now I'm gone for 2 weeks. They done forgot about you already, bro. This is media.
That's
this shit move fast. That's like a year in media time. You know what I'm saying? Or I know what TikTok does. Once you start going too viral, they'll slow your whole algorithm down to where it ain't sharing your videos. You'll go from getting 1 million views to 200. Oh, you want more views? Pay for these ads. They doing that quick too. So it's crazy. Like I see in Canada, they got this regulation going on. They broadcasting. The wording that they use was crazy to me though. They use specific wording to make it sound like they're not killing freedom of speech, but they really are. They're calling it a major step forward, saying that the new rules ensure online streaming services make meaningful contributions to Canadian and indigenous content. So basically, they get to dictate what they feel is meaningful. Like, let the people dictate that. Like, me personally, I don't care about getting labeled. You can label me whatever you want. Just let me say what I want to say the way I want to say it. I know how to defend myself, but you give me the freedom to say it. And for the people like, well, if you don't like community guidelines, go start your own shit. Let's be real. Elon Musk had to buy Twitter.
Yeah, just
he
for it
could
to
have
be the way
easily
it
started his own shit. But if that don't let you know it's just not that easy, what will? He had to buy that shit for what, 44 billion or something?
Crazy.
Something crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy though. Like it's getting to a spooky place because the world is now online, and if they're controlling what you can say online, where can you say anything? We don't own the news outlets. Online was like the Wild Wild West,
where we could,
and now it's like, okay, where do we go?
Yeah, I think again, my bad to cut you off. And the government has done it with every single thing, right? You know, activism, different political figures that we've had. I call it or it's called the Scarlet Letter, right? I don't know if y'all heard about that, where, you know, a girl, I believe, lost her virginity or had sex unwed or something like that, and she had the letter A, had to wear it on her, something like that. So that's what they do to us in society, pretty much. Like, that's what they have done with Tate. That's what they have done with Riza Islam. Like, that's what they have done with these figures. The disinformation dozen, that's a scarlet letter. That means now everywhere you go, you're known as the disinformation dozen. No matter what you do, no matter how many times you give facts, this is all you are now, because we made it that way. And so I think that is the first thing that they do to keep niggas from speaking. And then obviously the actual, you know, stopping from the community guidelines and banning and shit like that.
Yeah, freedom of speech is dead. It's been dead for a while. And even then, even to a case, just even being on the streets, you can say certain things and you can go to jail for them. You know what I mean? You can get hit with terrorist threats and all different type of things. But I feel like they don't want history getting to a point where it could repeat itself. If you think even back in the times, the mouth was a strong point for when it came to people doing things, from Malcolm X to Martin Luther King to all these people. They talked and their words moved people in a way, like you said, with that cult-like following. So they know how powerful the words is, and they have to control that to keep it from ever getting to that point. Because people, if somebody could be in a room and be marching and motivating people to that extent, it's hard for them to get to them. You know what I mean? If you could just be in a cave somewhere saying all type of shit that might build up a following if you saying whatever you allowed to say. So I think they're preventing any type of things to get to that point on a deeper scale, if I look at it that way. And they're going to control what they want, what the narrative is. Anything that you saying too deep or too real or too something else that could spark a mind and wake it up for not to be under their program, they Xing you out. You fucking up their program. They go back to say like the Matrix. They the agents and they trying to control that shit. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Oh, go ahead.
I only like that because, and I wanted to speak to how like people like, man, you got 1,000 followers. Ain't nobody worried about you. Do y'all understand that we all have a social security number? Like, do y'all get what I'm saying? We are all accounted for. I don't give a fuck if you got 1 follower. They're watching you. The government is surveying what you do on your cell phone. If you have a social media platform and you're posting, they're monitoring that. Those platforms are an extension of the government, whether y'all like it or not. So you got 5 followers or 5 million, you're being watched. So I hate when, you know, we get on here like this and talk about it, and that's what people want to hit you with. Well, you're not one of those. Well, trust me, it's that serious. When you look at everything just in the world and how they've programmed things like we've spoken on before, It's that serious. Every human and what they think and believe, if we can get it to our view, it counts. Every single one of them. So no matter how little or small the podcast is, control of freedom of speech matters on all platforms, all levels.
See, people not looking at the long game is with this the sensitivity of speech. You know what I'm saying? With them trying to include everybody, this whole inclusion, and not trying to offend anybody by trying to make it to where I'm gonna control what you say so you don't offend anybody. You effectively make it to where you damn near can't say anything. Because I can be offended by anything. You know what I'm saying? And I might feel good today, like, oh yeah, you can't call me the N-word, even though they ain't banning that for some reason.
Never
You can say
will.
that shit anywhere.
Never will.
Out of all of this bullshit censorship, you can still call me the N-word. That's a whole nother topic. That's crazy. But effectively, it's like, oh, I feel good today. And then I might be saying my normal day-to-day speech 3 years from now. And now what I'm saying is offending somebody. So people ain't looking at that. Like, good for you today could be bad for you tomorrow. The same way they're censoring people to say things that could offend you, what you saying could be offending somebody else. So people ain't really looking at the effects of that. Like he said, to the point where I'm talking in real life and this is viewed as a threat and I can go to jail. It's like, where do we draw the line? Like, these are just fucking words. But like you said, don't matter whether you got 1 follower or 1,000. They know you spark that right mind. That right mind could lead a whole nation. So I think that's what they're trying to prevent. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta stand. We gotta make a stand as people. Is where do we draw the line?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Fuck that.
No, really. Where do we draw the line? Where do we say enough is enough? Where do we arm our minds and our mentality to, you know what I mean, be able to see through the bullshit, you know what I mean, get around it and build, or have a revolution and build, you know, a different way of doing things, a different way of viewing things, of how we accept things, etc. I think that it does start with us, and you know, that is what they're trying to stop, is us being able to see through that bullshit, us being able to stop being programmed and really just living life the way that we want to, saying what we want to say, thinking what we want to think. That is really what's free. And that's what they're trying to stop.